He's an asshole, man. That dude's an asshole and he knows it.
From the mean streets of Brooklyn to the rough neighborhoods in Boise, Idaho, we now present the Goonberg Report. Hey everybody, this is Mayor Goonberg with the Goonberg Report. And today I'm going to do something special. I got stats and figures for you today. I'm going to talk about something that we don't like to talk about in the black community. This is bingo, here we go. We're going to talk about the real statistics with single fathers in the black community. As you can see here, read this real quick and I want to explain it as we go by. It's talking about single fathers. And there's been a myth that a lot of black men have 85 million kids. And first of all, just by the numbers alone, with black men and women and children total, that's not true. Our black population is still around 60 million. It hasn't changed. Due to unfair incarcerations, death, crime, yada, 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 et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, this, that, and the third. But I wanted you to read that real quick. I'm going to explain, because by now you should have read it already. So we're going to talk about I'm going to bring it on in three. Now you see here, it says 83% single mothers and 39% of the men. That's not even half. That's not half. You know, it's like 83%. And like I have to say, this is probably between somewhere around the 2012s, because like these numbers aren't right. They seem too low if you look at these numbers, because we know that a lot of black guys are not having kids. You can't travel across well, you can if you're selfish, but not a lot of black guys are traveling across the world to meet black women in other countries and staying there while they're kids. I mean, maybe they're doing it when they're grown, that's one thing, but they're not doing it when they're young, because that was one of my dilemmas. I couldn't leave my kids here, even though, old girls separated. I couldn't leave my kids here. When they're grown, they're doing their own thing. I do my own thing, but you can't do it when they're young. You still have to stay around, because like I said, accidents do happen when they're little, and they have more accidents. When they're older, they can adjust. But like I said, look at this. 83% single mothers versus the 39% of men with children. That means 39% of men have children. Now, here we go again. 39% of black men have children. And of that 39%, 21% have children with their wives. Okay. So if 21% of the 39% have children with their wives, that means 10% of the 39% have kids out of wedlock. That means, like I said, out of the 39%, we'll say 40, round it up. Out of 40%, a fourth of the people that have kids out of wedlock in the black male community. Now that's astonishing, and we all knew about this. Like I said, these numbers are not current. They're probably from like 2012, between 12 and probably 16. We know these numbers aren't current because you see how it is now. These chicks are having multiple kids. But let me not tease that right now. We're gonna stick to the game plan. Like I said, out of 40% of black men with kids, fourth of that are having kids out of wedlock. That means black men are getting married to black women. Well, at least 39% of them are. Okay, next one we're going to go to. Okay. Now, if the remaining 8% of the 39% have multiple children out of wedlock with multiple women. Okay, 18% of the men have children out of wedlock, while 83% of the women have children out of wedlock. What it shows you is they're sleeping with like garbage men, which we all know this. You see people making videos about Pookie, Ray Ray, and them all the time, because it's true. If she has more than one child, chances are she has more than one Pookie. She has more than one Ray Ray. And them always comes along because he hits her behind because she's just trying to get back at Pookie and Ray Ray. But these stats just prove what we're all saying here. And these are CDC stats. Like, a lot of people in the black community, like, they want to make up, like, remember when black crime was through the roof during the 90s, and black men were getting blamed for everything under the sun, from global warming to cheating on chicks on Maury, and remember when they were throwing us under the bus on Ricky Lake, Sally Jesse, Geraldo, and all these other shows? What are black women going to do about this? Are they going to come to terms with reality? I mean, chances are they won't, because they never do. The fact remains that if you see a single mother, there's a better, like 50, it's like 50-50 almost. I would say, like I said, this is back in 2010, probably 2012 to 2014-16. They probably got a 60% chance of a chick having a kid with multiple dudes. And number one, you don't want that headache, young man. Trust me. Bad enough having a kid with a chick. Now you got to deal with Pookie, Ray Ray, and them. Nah, that ain't gonna happen at all. Just do your thing. That's why I said nowadays, if you want to find a black female, go out of the country. They're more traditional than these chicks around here. They are. So, I hope that you see this, and like if you want to just read this stat, I'm going to try to find more stats for you to do more videos. So this is Mayor Goomberg, and this has been the Goomberg Report. Thank you.